delete the idea that you need to wait until you feel ready. And this is very true of performers. Oh, I need to wait until I feel ready. Because waiting until you feel ready is like waiting for IKEA instructions to actually make sense. It is not going to happen. So do it scared, do it anyways.
Hi, welcome back to the Sing Confidently Live Creatively podcast. Estelle here. Today, I have a guest for you who's going to help you build confidence in who you are as a singer, as a performer, a creative artist. She specializes in the topic of confidence. And so you're really going to learn about how you can dig deep into building and sustaining your confidence as a performer, not just one time, but really developing it and sustaining it. So I have as our guest Simone Knego. She's going to share about her framework for building confidence and so much more. But first, I just want to let you guys know that if you know that you want to build confidence in singing and you haven't joined the waitlist for the Sing Confidently collective, the membership that I'm still playing around with for group classes for you guys. If you would like to take a singing class that is a group setting where you can pay a little bit less and you can also have the opportunity to sing or not sing, it's totally up to you. If you want to learn and kind of be present there and do warm-ups, or you actually want to sing and get feedback, it's up to you. That's kind of how the class will be. So just go ahead and fill out the waitlist interest form. And then once you do that, I'll be able to send out more information when we get closer to it. But you can go to creativelybyestelle.com/collective, creativelybyestelle.com/collective to check it out, see if you would be interested in joining the waitlist for group classes for singers. Okay, but we're going to talk about building confidence today with our guest, Simone. Simone is a two-time TEDx speaker, best-selling author of The Extraordinary UnOrdinary You, and her upcoming book, Real Confidence. Actually, her book that is already out, Real Confidence, is all about guiding people to move through fear and transform self-doubt. She recently released this book, and she's going to talk all about this. Because of when we recorded the episode, it was before the book was released, but now it's out, so you can go and get it literally right when you're listening to this episode or right after. Okay, she is passionate about helping performers like you and high achievers build the kind of confidence that lasts, not just on stage, but in everyday life. And so she has a podcast as well with her daughter called Her Unshakable Confidence Podcast. And she has climbed Mt Kilimanjaro, raised 6 kids, and been featured on ABC, NBC, CBS, Entrepreneur, and Yahoo News. So she knows what she's talking about. So get ready to take notes and listen in to how you can build unshakable, real confidence with the Simone Knego.
All right, I am here with the Simone Knego. Hi, Simone. How are you doing today?
Hi, I'm doing great. Thanks so much for having me here today.
I'm so excited to have you. You are like, when it comes to confidence and building confidence, like just looking at your bio, looking at your information and your books and everything, like you have really delved deep into the topic of confidence, which is something that we talk a lot about on this podcast in regards to building confidence as singers and performers and just creatives in general. And so I'm really excited to talk to you. I'd love to know what got you interested in the topic of confidence. Why is that something that matters so much to you that you had to write not one, but two books about confidence? And you're going to tell us more about that later, but kind of give us a little overview of why, who you are and why you got into this topic.
So, first and foremost, I'm a mom of 6. I've been married to my husband for 32 years, and I'm a keynote speaker, author, podcast host, and coach. And I am someone that struggled with self-doubt for the majority of my life. I had a moment in high school that really put me down the path of that I wasn't good enough, right? That I'm not smart enough, I'm not pretty enough, all the not enoughs. And it took me until I was in my 40s. And again, I had a big moment in my 40s that helped me realize, okay, it doesn't matter what anybody else is doing. I don't need to compare myself to other people. I need to respect myself. I need to work on myself. I need to love myself. And so my goal now is to help other women get there quicker than I did. And, I love what you're doing with stage because so I have a podcast with my 23-year-old daughter. And in high school, that was her big thing was performing in musicals. And she's got a beautiful voice. but she really doubted herself, and stage was actually something that really helped her feel good, right? That really changed the way how she moved forward with the other parts of her life in high school, because high school's not easy. So it was really, using that as a mechanism for her to feel more confident.
Yeah. Wow, that's beautiful. First of all, a mom of six. Oh
Mm.
my goodness. That is such a huge accomplishment. Wow, you're incredible. And then on top of that, like the fact that you were able to go through that whole process. The thing about you and the thing that I love about people like you is that you go through the exact thing that you're now wanting to teach, that you're working, which is kind of similar to me. Like you've gone through that process, and so you're willing to now take that and put it into a structure that you can now teach and share with others, versus hoarding it, keeping it to yourself. I really love that the way that you kind of conceptualize like how you have to go through that yourself, and then you're seeing that in your daughter as well. And it's funny that you talk about performing. I love that your daughter did performing in high school too. I did as well. And it's funny because I kind of am torn sometimes with this show, because I really love speaking to like the like people who are in the performing arts space and want to do it as a career or as like a really intentional hobby or a creative outlet, and they're really focused on it. But I also am like, even if you're not wanting to do this for a career, like performing is going to help you build your confidence. Like not only can you build confidence in the act of performing, but like doing the performing arts, singing, and all of that, that also helps you build confidence in every other area of your life in general. So I just love that you tied that in to how your daughter, Olivia, right, was able to,
Yeah, Olivia.
yeah,
Yeah.
was able to
Yeah.
do that too. Wow, that's incredible.
Yeah. And it was really, I mean, it was fun to watch her because,
Mm.
and even now, okay, she'll sing every once in a while, and her friends are like, "Wait, what? You can sing?" I think I pressed her too much, like, "Come on, let's do karaoke." She's like,
Yeah.
"I don't want to do karaoke, mom." Okay, fine. So, but really watching her, high school is a hard time, and watching her find her people and then being able to step on stage. We actually didn't know she could sing until eighth grade. Like she never sang at home. And she joined chorus, and they gave her a solo, and we didn't even know. So we're walking in to the auditorium. Like she did not talk about it. Like this is the confidence she didn't have, right?
Yeah.
We're walking into the auditorium, and she's standing on stage by herself, and she starts singing. And my husband and I looked at each other. We're like, "Did you know? Did you know?" No, we didn't know. And all our friends were like, "That's your daughter." I'm like, "Yeah, okay. I had no idea that she could sing."
That's hilarious.
And then from there, she really just started putting herself out there. And now she's a law student. But I think so much of that really started her on a really strong foundation because, you have to get up there in front of people. And, a big part of it is the taking the action, right? You do all the work to prepare for it. It's getting up there and saying, okay, I've got this. Like, I know I'm ready to do this because I've done the preparation. And so I've seen that across the board with her. And that was like such a crazy moment of saying, I had no idea. Why didn't you tell us? And she was like, oh, well, I didn't really think I was that good. And I was like, okay, and but
Yeah.
that's what we do to ourselves, right? We
Right.
make this assumption, oh, I'm not that good.
Right. I love what you talked about with the idea of like preparation, and then being able to, there's a level of trusting yourself, like trusting that you have done the work, you've done the preparation. And my older sister also did theater and like all the things in school and singing and a cappella. And she's also a lawyer. So I love that, like,
Ah,
the
that's
girl in
cool.
the lawyer pipeline. That's definitely a thing. But yeah, that's great. I love that you talk about preparation. I would love to hear your kind of framework that you talk about, at least in your first book, and then maybe in your new book. I'm not sure which one that you have a specific framework for building confidence,
Hmm.
or maybe both. And where does preparation fit into that framework? I'd love to know.
Yeah, so it's actually in my second book. My framework is called the R.E.A.L method, which stands for respect yourself, embrace your failures, ask yourself what you want, and live without limits. Honestly, I think preparation is part of all of it. More than anything, probably embracing your failures because we're all going to fail at something. But I'm a keynote speaker, right? I mean, if I don't prepare for a talk and I get up on stage, of course, I feel like, oh my gosh, I'm going to do a horrible job. Nobody's going to like it. But
Mhm.
if I do the work, if I get ready, then that part of my fear process goes away because I know that I've put in the work and I know I can tell myself honestly, like, you're ready for this. And you would see, most people who perform, they don't just go out there and wing it, right? I mean, think about comedians, like how much they practice their bits, their acts, before they actually put themselves out there. And so it's that preparation, whether you're talking to yourself in the mirror or whatever it is, that's really a big part of it. But that also comes down to, so let's talk about the self-respect piece because when I was a kid, I remember being taught to respect my elders, my peers, and I have great parents, but never once do I remember being taught that the most important person to respect is myself, and part of self respect is obviously setting boundaries, taking care of yourself, and with the taking care of yourself part, that is a preparation thing, right? It's saying, okay, I know I have this coming up. I need to put in this much to make sure that I'm going to feel comfortable getting out there. And, we don't want to set ourselves up to fail. I mean, I think failing is very important, but sometimes you fail just because, right? But other times, if you're like, okay, I have this big thing coming up, but I did nothing for it, then you're setting yourself up to fail. So preparation is key.
Yeah. And that could even be like a form of self-sabotage. It's like, no, I want to do this thing, but we procrastinate, like actually prepping for the thing. And it's actually self-sabotage. Procrastination, like at least I know for myself, 1000%, 9 times out of 10, it's me self-sabotaging. Like I know I have an audition coming up. Why haven't I not got my headshot printed?
Mm,
Why have I not printed out my resume? Why have I not worked on this song with the vocal coach? Why have I not been practicing this every single day? Why have I been warming up my voice to prepare for this piece? Like, there's a reason. It's self-sabotage. I don't think I'm going to get the role, so I don't even want to. So, but via versus, like you're saying, if I respect myself as an actor and a singer, and I say I'm a professional performing artist, this is what I do, right? I respect who I am. And it doesn't matter. It honestly doesn't even matter whether I book the role, even though I do want to. But what matters is that I'm showing up for myself and I respect myself and I show up professionally because of that.
mm,
Even when no one else is watching, like I am a professional, so I'm going to do the work, even before I get to the audition, if that makes sense.
yeah.
I think what you said about self-respect, yeah, no one tells us that. Oh, sorry, my piano. If you guys heard, that was me hitting my piano. Sorry. But no one tells us that. No one says, respect yourself, respect others. But the way that you respect others and you respect your elders and people on authority is that you also have to know who you are, and respect who you are as well. Because you are also a human on this planet who deserves that respect and that care. Um,
Yeah. And I think so often when we think about self-respect, we think, oh, like it's being selfish. No, I
mhm.
mean, when you respect yourself, you're able to show people how you're willing to be treated. So if you walk into something and say, I'm going to demand respect, right? I mean, how about demonstrate it to yourself instead? Because that way people really learn that, oh, yeah, she's not going to put up with that. Or, wow, look at the work she's put into that, right? And but we don't talk about it. There's so many things we don't talk about, but that's a big one that we don't talk about.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
good. Okay, so I want to ask you about how you're preparing, how you work with performers and high achievers and things like that. But first, I do want to hear a little bit about your journey with climbing Mount Kilimanjaro because
Mm.
I'm not an athletic person per se, but I do admire anyone who does a sort of feat like, Olympians, like people like you who are climbing like Mount Everest, Mount Kilimanjaro, like people who even running marathons, like people who have a goal that they set for themselves and they're working towards it over time and then they achieve it. That is just such a beautiful arc. I'd love to know your journey with that and how that led you to then building that unshakable confidence that you
Mm.
talk about in your book. And then we'll talk about how you work with performers to help them build that unshakable confidence. It's kind of where I'm thinking we're going to go.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'll start with saying that everybody has a Kilimanjaro, right? Everybody has some kind of mountain that they're climbing that they either are struggling with or something that they want to reach the summit of. So, just as a metaphor for things. But I am not a climber. I am honestly not super athletic, and I own that. Like if I have a choice of sitting on the couch and drinking a glass of wine or going to the gym, I think I'll choose the couch. But it was something that I was kind of challenged with. I was at a point in my life, I was 42 years old. I'm 53 now, and I was really struggling. I looked great on paper, right? She's got 6 kids. She must have it all together. And I didn't. Like I was like, I felt like I was barely holding on, right? And so that performance that I was doing for everybody else, like, oh yeah, everything's great. And, to the point where I didn't even cry, right? Like bad things would happen. I'd be like, oh, well, like I didn't want to let anything go because it could all fall apart at any moment. And so a friend had asked my husband if he was interested in climbing. And the way I tell the story is 1, 2, 3, no, thank you, call Simone. And he's like, I didn't say that. I'm like, it's my story. It's okay. So his friend called me and I said, so he had climbed it the year before. His friend had climbed it the year before, raising money for the Live Strong Foundation. And I said yes, because, well, first of all, you put something charitable with it, like that will definitely pique my interest. But I knew I needed to get out of my comfort zone. I, I knew that, okay, I need something. Like I really felt like I wasn't making a difference in the world. And constantly looking at everybody else's life and why did they have that? Why isn't my life like this? And what? Like really, that's what I was doing? But that's what I was doing. And so that really changed my world. I really realized what I was capable of. There were 16 of us. I didn't know anybody on the team. Um, not only was I climbing with people that I didn't know, but I also had a tent mate. She's turned out to be fantastic. She's actually coming to my book launch, all the things. Like, so yeah, you never know how things are going to go. But it was life changing for me. So yes, we all made it to the summit, everybody on the team. And I it was really about changing the way I saw myself. So for a lot of people, I think, okay, this is cliche. She climbed a mountain and her world changed. But it was about how I changed the way I saw myself, because I stopped looking at everybody else and thinking, oh, yeah, their life is great and mine isn't. Everybody struggles, right? Like what we see on the outside is not what's happening on the inside. And so understanding that I can do anything, I can accomplish anything if I want it bad enough and I put in the work. So, it might take a very long time to get there, but it's that, you know, persistence, the consistency, the really going after what you want. And so what that did for me was when I finished with that experience, that's when I started saying, okay, someone asked me to speak and I said, I don't have a story, and then they're like, yeah, you have a great story. Oh, yeah, I have a great story. Okay, let me start speaking, right? And let me see if I can inspire one person to see themselves differently, then that is absolutely worth it. So that's kind of how I got into the speaking and writing. I mean, my education, I'm a CPA. I have a bachelor's and master's in accounting, you know? So completely different than how I started, but I wouldn't change it for the world, because I know that everything I've gone through has brought me to this moment in time. Everything I've struggled with has made me realize, like, okay, this is what you're supposed to be doing. And this is, I mean, it fills my cup too. It's, yes, I love helping other people, but I also love helping other people because it makes me feel good. And so that's where I am now. And the last part of the question, 53 at one ear, you know.
No, you're good. That was perfect. That was perfect.
Okay.
I really want people to hear like it's because you have the courage to say yes to doing this climbing thing. You don't really know exactly what you're getting into fully because you just don't know until you do it. And then you did it, you built community, right? Because you had the courage to start, you built community. And then from there, you accomplished the thing eventually, right? You climbed the mountain. And what happened next? Like opportunities started coming, you were able to start speaking, writing, and you built your confidence. But it started with that small action of saying yes, right? That small action of having the courage to say yes, building community along the way. It's just like
every single time that I talk to someone on this podcast, it always is like the same things. You have to have the courage to say yes. There's community built along the way. And then you build confidence because you took that action. And then after that action, other doors start opening, other
Mhm.
things start happening, the ball starts rolling, even if it's little at times or at the beginning, it's going to grow. But it starts with that act of courage. And I just love for people to hear that, like, if it's literally just the act of courage of saying yes to like one voice lesson, or saying yes to
Mhm.
one dance class, or saying yes to going and training to climb Mount Kilimanjaro, like just saying yes. I just think that that courageous step, like I just see that through line and what you've been able to accomplish from there. So that's amazing. And yeah.
Yeah. I think it's true of every single person. A lot of times we look at confidence and say, I need to feel confident before I do this. And it's exactly the opposite. You have to do it and then it starts building your confidence, right? Because if we're going to wait for something to happen, it's just not. So it's that action piece that is key to anything that we do. And a lot, when I was younger, I thought, oh, other people are so confident and I'm just not. But I didn't realize that confidence is a skill that you build. You can be any age and build confidence. It's like any other skill. So the first time you took a voice lesson, I'm sure you weren't ready to be on stage, right? Like you have to practice and practice and practice. And it's the same thing with your mindset that you have to practice, right? You don't take one Spanish lesson and become fluent. So why would we think that we work on something one time? Like we do one set of positive affirmations and now, whew, we're super confident. It doesn't work that way. It's a habit, it's a practice, it's a skill, and we need to work on it every single day.
I love that because you're talking about the skill of confidence itself, like building confidence itself. And yeah, we do expect to be like, okay, like I should feel confident, even if you've been doing something for months and even years, like we still need to be putting in that like the a little bit of practice in building our confidence, like you said, at any age. I love that. So can you tell us a little bit about your process when you're working with performers and high achievers in order to help them build confidence that lasts, in order to help them build that unshakable confidence? Because these are people who are already wanting to achieve, already wanting to perform. So for those of us listening who are in that place of like, we're going to auditions, we're performing, we're gigging, we're doing the thing, but how do you help us still find that lasting confidence?
Yeah. So the first thing is really talking about the words that we say to ourselves and the words we say about ourselves. If you wouldn't say it to your best friend, don't say it to yourself. So, we will build our best friend up all day long, but we will tear ourselves down all day long as well. And we need to be our own best friend. We are going to live with ourselves until we die. So, you know, why would we want to wake up in the morning and say, well, you're going to do horrible today, or this is really going to suck? How about the opposite, right? So much of obviously building confidence is the words that you use. So, positive affirmations, gratitudes. Um, I have a little mindset hack that I like to use with my clients and across the board. Because I feel like it's something really easy to do, because we all have those negative thoughts. It doesn't matter how long you have prepared for something. We're human, right? We're going to get those negative thoughts in our head. I call it the what if whisperer. What if you fail? What if you're not enough? What if they judge you? Whatever it is. And there's so many studies about the number of thoughts that we have every day. So one of the studies that is on the lower end, but I like to quote this study because it's out of Queen's University in Canada, and it says we have around 6,200 thoughts every day. 85% of them are negative, 95% are repetitive. So day after day, the same negative thoughts on repeat. So here's where my little mindset hack comes in. It's a very creative title, Control Alt Delete. So back in the day, it was how we would reset a frozen computer. Now it brings up Task Manager, I guess, to manage tasks that I don't even know I have, but whatever. So sometimes our minds freeze too, right? We spiral in self doubt. We get stuck in that comparison game. So control is about awareness because a lot of times we go from place to place. And we say things to ourselves, we don't even know we're saying it because it's on automatic repeat. So control is about awareness. What is the thought that's running your day? Is it real? Is it true? Is it helpful? Most of the time, the answer is no, right? It's the story you're telling yourself, the negative story you're telling yourself. Alt is about alternative. Tell yourself a better story. Instead of telling yourself you can't do something, yes, I can. Watch me, right? Instead of asking yourself, oh, what if I fail? How about when I succeed? There are, again, a ton of studies about the way you talk to yourself, like how your thoughts, how your words become your reality. So if you're going to tell yourself every single day that, yeah, well, I'm going to really suck at this, you're probably not going to put in the work because you've already convinced yourself. It's that self sabotage piece, right? Yeah. So then finally, delete the habits and beliefs that don't serve you. Um, delete the comparison game. Delete the belief that you're not enough. Delete the idea that you need to wait until you feel ready. And this is very true of performers. Oh, I need to wait until I feel ready. Because waiting until you feel ready is like waiting for IKEA instructions to actually make sense. It is not going to happen. So do it scared, do it anyways, right? And that's where confidence builds is when you do it. So every time I had those negative thoughts, even still, like people are like, "Oh, you're so confident now." It's a practice. It's a skill. You're working on it all of the time. And so when I still have those negative thoughts all the time. Like, oh, don't go to that event. You're not dressed nice enough, whatever it is. And I say, okay, control alt delete. First of all, does anybody really care what I'm wearing? No, So I go through the process and it's very quick. Like I can, say to myself, okay, this is not real. Move on. And for me, it's been really helpful. For my clients, it's been really helpful. But again, going back to the original question, it's really about becoming aware of the things that we're saying to ourselves and the things that we're saying about ourselves.
The way you say it, Simone, it's so clear. The way that you structure it is so simple. I love the control alt delete. It's so clear. I love a framework. I love a step by step. I don't know about you guys, but I love a step by step. Give me all the steps. I'll do them.
Mm-hmm.
So I love that you make it so clear and simple that it's a way to interrupt and disrupt those thoughts. Like you said, the negative thoughts that are on repeat. Um, so I really appreciate you making it so simple. And yet at the same time, it's simple, but it's not easy, right? Because like
Nope.
you said, it's a practice. And I've never thought about confidence as a practice until literally this conversation with you. So thank you.
Yeah.
It's such a good way to put it. It is a practice. And as performers, we should like to practice anyway, right? So
Mm-hmm.
hey, just make sure
Yeah.
you this practice.
Stand in front of the mirror and tell yourself what you're capable of, right? I mean, we love to look in the mirror and say, oh my gosh, like as I get older, look at that wrinkle, or oh my gosh, I'm balding now, whatever it is. But how about the opposite? How about look in the mirror and say, wow, like, look at all the amazing things that I've done today. Like, what am I grateful for? Like, I'm still able to do these things. Like, I have a great voice, whatever it is. Instead of picking on yourself, build yourself up like you would your best friend.
Yes. And on a side note, you look fabulous.
Oh, thank you.
Fabulous. So
Thank you.
everyone, when you guys follow Simone and connect with her, you'll see she's absolutely gorgeous.
Oh, thank you. So are you.
Yeah, thank you. You have great skin.
Thank
Your skin is like
you.
glowing on the on the
Ah,
video. So yeah, I love that. So I would love for everyone to hear a little bit about your books. What is the main thing that you wanted to share with your first book, Extraordinary Unordinary You? And then we really want to get into Real Confidence, your new upcoming book, and
mm,
why you felt the need to write a second book. Like what was the
mm.
reason? What did you want to tell the world? So
Yeah.
tell us a little bit about your first book.
So the first book, The Extraordinary Unordinary You, um, is all about realizing what you're capable of and recognizing that the little things you do every day matter. I think so often we think about the big things, right? I have to get that gigantic role, or I don't make a difference unless I'm the big celebrity or if I'm the big philanthropist, whatever it is. But you change the world every day with the decisions that you make, right? That you change the world with how you reach out to help someone, how you communicate with someone. Like, think about customer service, right? Their name is actually not customer service. They are a human on the end of that line. And so it's so important to kind of move forward, understanding that we have no idea what anybody else is going through. So we have a choice every day. Why not choose to help other people? And why not choose to be kind? And so, though, what I've realized over time, those little things really make a difference. And I even when you're in the Starbucks line and people are frustrated, like say hi to people. Just it scares people because they're like, oh my gosh, someone said something to me, right? I mean, I think it's such an important thing. But in that book, I talk about we adopted our youngest three children, so their adoption stories and life in general, how, again, that I understanding that what you're doing every day makes a difference. And what's interesting with that book is I had no idea what I was doing, right? I wrote a book. If you write it, they will come. No, they won't. Like you have to put yourself out there. You have to do all the things. You have to ask your friends 50 times to post about it or buy the book, give a review, because everybody's lives are busy. We always think, oh my gosh, what are they going to think? They're not thinking about you. They have their own lives. So when it comes to a positive thing, you have to ask them to think about you. So then once that book came out and I learned a lot about the book business and publishing and that kind of stuff. And then really I was focusing so much on helping other people build confidence that I thought, okay, why don't I put this down in a book? Because one thing I learned from the first book is what you said. People love a framework. They love to follow steps. And so that was one of the biggest pieces of feedback I got on the first book is, okay, well, tell me what to do. Like, I love all this. Tell me exactly what to do. There goes. And so now real confidence, a simple guide to go from unsure to unshakable. This is my new baby.
Yeah.
So um,
Beautiful.
thank you. And so with that book, it it really does give a lot. There's a lot of frameworks. The main framework is the R.E.A.L method: respect yourself, embrace your failures, ask yourself what you want, and live without limits. And then there's other frameworks, and there's exercises to do, like a lot of thought and journaling, and to me, like when you go through it, you're like, oh wait, I can see what I'm doing. And it's a very vulnerable book. Like I start off the book, talking about how many times I've been on the bathroom floor because I couldn't get it together. And so, really making people understand that they're not alone in any of the struggles that they have, but we have to be willing to talk about them.
That's beautiful. I'm so grateful that you're able to share about both books, but I love that you kind of like after writing your first book, you're like, oh, okay, here are the to do, here's the action steps to build that confidence. So I'm excited for everyone to lean into that and learn more about your book, read your book. Can you share with everyone how they can like pre-order and all of that so that way we can support your book as it's coming out and when it's coming out exactly?
So it actually comes out soon. It comes out, and this episode might probably will come out after the book comes out, but February 17th, and but you can find it at realconfidencebook.com. I'm going to keep the pre-order bonuses up there for a bit, so there's some extra stuff on there you get when you buy the book, and then you can find, well, that's the best place to find it. I mean, it's going to be everywhere you can find a book. You can go to your local bookstore and ask them to order a copy of it. So however you get your books, that's the best way to get it.
Great, 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 great. And well, we'll share at the end where people can like find your website, Instagram, and listen to your podcast that you co-host with your daughter. But before we do that, I'm going to ask the last question that I ask all of my guests before we wrap up. So for the person who's listening who is really wanting to get back into singing, they used to sing or do theater and act and all of that when they were younger, and now they're really wanting to get back into it. They want a creative outlet. They want to pursue this career, but they just are struggling with their confidence. And they're hearing you and they're like, okay, Simone said I have to have the courage to take the first step and like take action. Okay, 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 I'll do that. But I really, really just don't know. I just don't feel confident enough. If you could just speak to that person who's in that place of just really deep self-doubt that maybe you were in at one point as well. And you just had one last thing that you want to just lay on their hearts, what would you say to them?
Yeah. So let me start with saying that you don't need to change who you are. You need to change the way you see yourself, right? So it starts with us. So when we're thinking, oh my gosh, I can't do this, also remind yourself or ask yourself, what's the worst that's going to happen, right? Someone might say no to you. Okay. But if you don't do it, you will never know. And it's always worth putting yourself out there. I mean, there's so many things that I've done now where I'm like, okay, that worked out pretty cool. Who knew? You make a phone call and you're like, oh yeah, okay, great. Yes, I'll come on that TV show, whatever. And but if we don't take that first step, then we will never know. And personally, I think it's more uncomfortable to be comfortable than it is to get uncomfortable. So sitting around waiting for something to happen makes me very uncomfortable these days. Like I want to take action because then I know. Like I've always said to my kids, like when you want something, go after it because the worst that happens is that you fail at it. And what happens with failure, you learn. So it's not a closed door, it's a stepping stone to the next thing. But if you don't try something, you've already closed the door.
That's beautiful. I love that. It's not about changing yourself, but it's changing the way you see yourself. That's
Mm.
really powerful too. And then, of course, not letting, like, thinking of the failure, whatever failure that is, as a stepping stone. That's beautiful. Thank you so much
Yeah.
for sharing, Simone, and for being on the podcast. Thank you for sharing about your book. Yeah, this will definitely come out after your book has come out, but we'll make sure we put all of your links and everything in the show notes so everyone can go find you. And I'll share this podcast all around social media and everything. So people will be able to find you and hear more about what you're doing. Can you share with everyone where they can connect with you and your podcast as well? And we'll be good to go.
Absolutely. So you can find me at my website, SimoneKnego.com, SimoneKnego. So it's really interesting because I thought Simone Biles was going to fix it for me. I thought like once she became so famous, everybody would know how to spell Simone.
Yeah.
No, I'm still Simon. So SimoneKnego. You can find me on social media at the same, basically Simone Knego across pretty much all platforms. And then you can also find our podcast. It's called Her Unshakable Confidence. We drop an episode every Tuesday, and it's probably the most fun. I mean, I love hanging out with all my kids, but to have a podcast with a kid, one of my older daughters, my oldest daughter, tried coming on at once and she was like, this was horrible. I don't know why you guys like that. She was like, you have to think way too fast. I was like, okay.
Yeah.
So,
That's
but
the fun part.
yeah, and you meet people from all over the world that you would have never met. I mean, we would have never met, right? So
Yeah.
that's one of the biggest things I love about podcasting is you meet people and you learn so much every time you do another episode. So
Yeah.
check it out, Her Unshakable Confidence.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. Yeah, I learned so much from this conversation.
Mhm.
So I also feel the same way about podcasting. I have been doing it for the last almost 5 years now, which is
Mhm.
crazy.
Amazing.
And I literally like have met so many people, like my vocal coach, I met through
Oh,
podcasting,
wow.
like people who are just like, it's incredible. It's incredible. It's anyway, that's a side note, but you guys
Yeah.
start a podcast. Like,
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
so
it's
much.
amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you learn a lot about yourself too, and it builds your confidence too, which is cool.
Yeah. Actually, let me add one piece to that. So my daughter, who is, I said that she's in law school. So she was doing I don't know, something in class the other day. They call you and you have to stand up and
Mhm.
talk, whatever. And she had a few people come up to her and say, like, you're always so confident when they call on you. Why is that? She goes, oh, I have a podcast with my mom. And I
Right?
thought that was like such a funny answer, but it's true because the more you talk, it's the practice piece, right? It's putting in the work. The more you talk to other people and the more you put yourself out there, the better you get at everything.
Absolutely. I love it. Oh, I love talking about podcasting. I talk about podcasting all day long.
Mm.
So fun. But yeah, thank you so much, Simone, for taking the time out of your busy schedule as you prepare for your book launch. And you're in the middle of book launching. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us on the podcast and speak to us here. And I just hope that you have an amazing day. It's been so great chatting with you.
Thank you. I really loved being here.
Thank you so, so much for listening to today's episode and to this show. I'm so in awe of you for being here and showing up for your creative gifts. That takes courage. Don't forget to join the performing arts community on Facebook for support and inspiration as you continue on your journey. If this episode helped or inspired you in any way, please leave a review on Apple Podcasts and share it with someone. It means so, so much. Thank you again, and don't forget to keep singing, acting, dancing, performing, and living creatively. Talk to you next time.